Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd play with a few more old transistor radios. After playing about and aligning that thing, and this will be getting packaged up after I finish this video, and it'll be getting off to its owner in the next day. So I kind of rekindled my interest in messing about with little AM transistor radios. So I've dug a few out of my collection out. Now these are basically just shelf art at the moment. These are sets that I've had on display for years, and some which I've dug out of the cellar as well. Found that one there, oops, down in the cellar. But most of these little ones like that are just a bit of shelf art. I have them all on a display shelf, and these are all either made in Hong Kong or made in Russia. They all date from the 60s or 70s, and these were made at a time where, apart from that one, I mean that's a little bit on the larger side, and that's later, that's late 70s, oops, that's late 70s, that one. All the rest of these are either very, very early 1970s or they're 1960s. And they were made in a time when, I think I've got a British, what have I got in here that's transistorized? Ah, there we go. Just bear with me a sec. This is this is slightly earlier. This is probably around 59, 60, but we were building, you know, transistor radios like that. And over in other parts of the world, we're getting, you know, seriously quite small little AM radios. I mean, I've shown this before. That's one of my little Russian ones. You can see that's really is quite a small radio, and I think that's from like the mid 1960s. And that even managed to incorporate a little alarm clock in it as well. Little clock mechanism in there as well, and that's long wave and medium wave, as where most of the tiny little ones you find around, find here are just AM only. They're just medium wave only. Sorry. But what I thought we'd do in this video is see if any of these have got any life in them. Some of these we're not going to be able to test because I know some of these use specialist batteries. They're quite interesting radios actually, but I think a lot of these will just use a normal 9-volt PP3 like that. So we'll see which if any of these are actually going to do anything and play, and then perhaps in some more videos I might even have a look at getting some of the ones that don't work working. That's indeed if any of them do work actually. Where shall we start? Let's start with that one there. These I mean, these are really, really cheap little radios, and this is really just a spares radio. I mean, it's in a shocking state. If it was in nice condition, these are quite sought after by collectors, known as a coffin radio, because of obviously because of the shape. Again, really, really cheap and nasty, made in Hong Kong. As you can see, the state of this one, the cabinet is this literally is just a spare parts radio, but you can see the cabinet's smashed to pieces. It's all broken there, if you can see. And there's a chunk missing out of the and it's even missing its battery connectors. This one, the dial's loose on it, but it might be a good source of spares. I doubt it's going to play. Actually, the plastic seems to be missing off the tuning capacitor. There should be a plastic cover on that tuning capacitor there. Even that's missing. I suppose we can, like I said, we can see whether it will play. I very much doubt it. Let's have to hold the wires on because the battery's. Hang on. Oops. Oh, but it crackles. Well, at least the amp's live in it. Oh. Actually, that's not bad. Picks up quite a few stations. Very crackly. It's crackly because, like I said, that tuning cap's knackered. It's missing all its plastic cover off it, and obviously the volume control's a bit shot. But amazingly, it does actually play that. So we may do something to see if we can tart that up or something. But I think it's probably beyond it. But at the very least, it's going to be a fairly good source of spares for other radios. Pity it's not in better condition actually, because if it was, it'd certainly be one I'd really do up and keep for the collection. Let's see what else we've got. Got a little Perdio. This is a Perdio Popsy 2. This is a 2-band. Again, about the same size as that Russian set. Very comparable size actually. It's very slightly smaller, but obviously this doesn't have a little clock built into it. But it is a medium wave and long wave set. You can obviously see what the sun's done to it. It used to be in a case, this, but the case literally, when I picked it down off the shelf, the leather case just disintegrated in my hands. It was really that dry and cracked. It just crumbled to bits. But you can see where the sun has obviously yellowed it quite severely in comparison with the rest of the cabinet. And this, unfortunately, is what does happen with these plastics over time. I mean, I suppose it could be retro-brighted like we do with an old computer. Let's see if this one will do anything. If I can indeed get in it. I think that it's actually warped, the plastic. Dear me. Let's see if I can. I think this has been there that long that the plastic's actually, the plastic's actually warped on it. Ah, there we go. I've got in anyway. Let's see what colour it used to be. In fact, you can see it quite well on the back. How it's yellowed where the sun's got to the exposed bit of it. And it looks like someone's been in this one in the past, and I don't know if you can. Oh dear! This is seeing the wrong side of the Phantom Dabbler, I think. Don't know if you can see in there. If you have a look at the IF cam there. Well, it's not the IF cam. That's the aerial tuning. These are the IF cams. That one, and them three there are the IF cams. That's your aerial tuning can up there, and I don't know if you can see. It should be a little red thing. The core is actually split in two. Someone's obviously incorrect adjustment techniques, and they've actually split the core in two on that. So that would probably need replacing if we get any chance of getting this thing to play. We'll put a battery in it and see if it makes any noise anyway. So I'll get you down a little bit, and we'll see if it does anything. But that doesn't look good. Let's see if it's going to play at all. No, that's dead. Oh, there's something there. Oh, can you hear that? It is just about working. It's actually picking a few stations up. It's just ridiculously quiet. Let's see what's that. Is that on medium wave or long wave? Let's try it on which I think's medium wave. Let's have a go. No, there's nothing there at all. That's completely dead. Let's try it back on. You know that? Oh. Let's see what's that. Is that long wave or medium wave it's on now? Because I'm sure. Oh, that's medium wave. So yeah, that's right. But that's full volume. They can pick like 2 stations up. Yeah, so there's obviously that's got issues, but that might be a nice one to repair actually. I think we would probably have to find a new aerial can for it, aerial coil there. That's two. Let's have a look at whoops. Well, seeing as it's fallen over, let's have a look at that. We've got a Kennedy, and this actually does still have its leather case, even though it's not in A1 condition. In fact, this one, I mean, it's got a little bit of yellowing on it, but it's nowhere near as bad as that that little Perdio. It has a little stand, this one as well, so it can stand itself up. I'm not sure on age of this. I think this one's a little bit older. I think this is probably it's definitely 1960s, but I think perhaps slightly earlier 1960s than the Perdio there. Again, I think this is made in Hong Kong. The case is really cheap plastic. It's already cracked quite severely and it's very warped. They did use a very cheap plastic on these. I'll take the back off. This is nice. It's actually someone's actually wrote their address in the back. Hopefully you can't actually make that out, because I wouldn't like to give someone's address out. Dear me, this is quite old. It's actually got a date in it. It's got someone's name, it's got their address, and then underneath it's May the 23rd, 1963. I'll cover that up so you can't see their address, but can you make that out there? I don't know if you can actually make that out or not, what it says, but it says May the 3rd, 1963. So this really is quite a, I mean, like I said, that's probably very late 1950s, very early 1960s British made transistor radio, and that's only made a few years later, made in Hong Kong. That's serious miniaturization really. Ooh, let's see if this one will do anything. Let's switch it on and see if we get any. No, I think this one might be dead. We're not getting anything. Not getting anything out of this one at all, not even a crackle out of it. It's probably a bad transistor or a bad capacitor. No, not even a crackle. It's possibly a bad transistor or bad capacitors in it, but that one's going to be a fun one to see if we can get that playing. Look how compact that circuit is there. So yeah, that's a nice interesting little set we're going to definitely have a look at, see if we can get that to play. Right, what else have we got? Let's have a look. I think this, I've got a few more, yeah, let's have a look at this one. This is a Riva Mark II. Again, this is another one made in Hong Kong. This is probably later, this is probably very late 1960s, it could even be early 1970s. Very similar construction as all the rest, although that's a bit unusual, having that larger, possibly the output transistor. No, they're the output transistors there, next to the output transformer. Not a bad design really. It's a bit strange, the aerial coil being that tiny little like miniature one, and the other one's a standard size. And they're all sealed with wax as well. It doesn't look like anyone's messed with them. So this could either just work or at least be an easy repair. Possibly if it does have a fault, it's going to be a bad capacitor or something like that, or a bad transistor. Let's see if it does anything. Get the battery up. No, it's completely dead. Yeah, it's complete. Let's just try Yeah, we're not even getting a crackle out of it. So that could be a nice fun one to see if we can get working. That's completely dead, totally dead, that one. Right, what else have we got? Now I don't think we can test this one because I think it uses, if I remember correctly, this is another one made in Hong Kong. This is probably dates from the early 1970s. It could even be up to the mid 1970s. Very tiny little radio, if you see. AM only. Let's see if we can get in it. I think this uses a AA battery, if I remember correctly. There we go, we're in. Actually, I've got some AA's here. Yeah. I've got some AA batteries here, so we could possibly try it. Or not. I think this has had a battery leak in it in some point in the past, because if you look, the spring's actually completely missing off that side. It does use just one AA battery, like that Chinese kit radio I was looking at in the previous video. So it does use just one AA battery there, but the springs actually seems to have gone off that side. I wonder if it's just broken off, but looking at it a bit closer in there, there's quite a bit of corrosion around there, so I'm wondering whether it's battery's been left in it in the past and it's leaked and it's just corroded the spring away. So we'll have to do some remedial work on that. No, we can hook it up to a bench supply or something for testing. But I quite like that one for such a compact little radio. Right, now let's get to our Eastern Bloc radios. This is quite a nice one. So this is a bit later. I think this is mid to late 1970s, and obviously it doesn't quite fit in with the rest. But I was looking for something else in the cellar earlier on, and I just happened to stumble across it in a box, so I thought I'd dig it out. It's a Vega 404, and Vega, a lot of Russian electronics that was sold in the UK seem to be sold under the Vega brand. I've got a few small, like 5-inch black and white TVs in the cellar, and I think they're Vega brand as well. They're definitely like Soviet era stuff. Unfortunately, not a single one of them worked. They're great, really nice looking little TVs. I'd love to play with them, but I think every single one of them has a bad line output transformer in it. But anyway, let's see if this is going to. Well, that doesn't inspire confidence. The fact that the wave change switch is kind of just hanging, it's not really doing very much. I wonder if this has been dropped. It's kind of like hanging out there. Let's see what it needs battery wise. That's quite nice. It's actually got its shoulder strap, and this literally was the idea of this was that you clip them in. Let me get you up a bit. You can see, clip them in like that. I didn't realise it had this. That clips on that side like that, and you can literally, you know, put it around your shoulder and walk with it. It is quite a nice little set, this. I'm sure with it being a one of these Russian AM sets, the AM radios, they all seem to be quite sensitive. It might be a nice boat radio, this, actually, because I always like to swap about. It's hectic because Amanda's due in a couple of days, so things are going to get chaotic. We're literally just waiting on finalisation of flights at the moment, and she'll be hopefully flying over in a few days' time. So if that happens, like I said, obviously I won't be making videos for a while. But yeah, like I said, hopefully in the future we'll have a look at perhaps getting some of these ones which are dead or not working very well. Well, that's all of them, isn't it? Oh well. The donor radio, the radio which I thought was only suitable for spares, actually seems to be the only one that's actually performing adamantly. All the rest, obviously, like I said, need work on them. But yeah, we'll play with some of these old radios in a upcoming video. So I'll say thanks for watching and goodbye.